Drivers, start your engines. Welcome to the half-decent racing league. Hey! We ain't the best, but we ain't last. Set up from Reddit, hope they're fast. Missed the apex, but still talk trash. Totally planned it, yeah, hit the gas. Paint scheme's clean, the lines are not. Cold tires, yeah, we forgot. Three wide racing, bad idea. Still send it anyway, no fear. We're side draft kings till we spin. Blame netcode every time we don't win. We're half decent, loud and proud. Not quite legends, but we're running this crowd. From green to checkers, yeah, we send it hard. Just good enough to tear up your car. Half decent, that's our name. Somewhere between has been and fame. Checkered flag or caution light. We're bringing chaos every night. Right rear hook, he turned me, bro. Replay says, yeah, that's a no. Missed your break, just call it bold. Track tightened up, story sold. Lap cars fight like it's the lead. Every restart turns to greed. Spotters screaming, hold your line. Too late, buddy, we're four wide. We talk like pros in the chat, then junk it all in turn one flat. We're half decent, loud and proud. Not quite legends, but we're running this crowd. From green to checkers, yeah, we send it hard. Just good enough to tear up your car. Half decent, that's our name. Somewhere between has been and fame. Checkered flag or caution light. We're bringing chaos every night. Net code, wasn't me. Well, that was just latency. Save my pride. Yeah, you drove it in too wide. We ain't pros, but we ain't done. We chase that win like it's Daytona. Every week we show back up. Half decent, but that's enough. We're half decent. Hear the roar, not quite perfect, but we're back for more. Rubbing fenders, crossing lines, living fast in these sim race lives. Half decent, on the fight. Little rough, but we're alright. Win or lose, we light up the track, and you know we will be back. Half decent, full throttle. See you next week, if your rig survives.
Welcome to another Friday night in Half Decent Racing League, week number 16 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Qualifying just now getting underway. You can see the 87 of Aiden O'Neill out on the racetrack. O'Neill Racing, lone entry of Aiden O'Neill. Looks like he's fast time on the board right. Let's get some time to scoring up here for you real quick as we can check in where we are in qualifying right now. Most drivers already got their couple laps in. O'Neill only got one lap in. Let's see if he goes back out for another, but right now he is at the top of the charts at a 30.51. Right behind him, Hunter Hughes at a 30.57. Last week's winner, Colton Gardner, picked up the win last week at Charlotte. 200 laps of action. Right now, third here in qualifying. Thank you for joining us here on a Friday night. My name is Chris Murphy with DRSN. Once again, happy to be here with you. We've got, like I said, the week number 16. Let's look at last week's results. I don't have anything to put up on the screen for you, but we can just kind of look through it here. Last week it was Colton Gardner bringing home the win over Matt Dickerson. Aiden O'Neill picked up a podium last week. Jacob Barker, Benedict Ringer, Charlie Bowling, another good run there in 6th last week. Justin Kruger, Kyle Saw, Connor Fuse, and Brendan McHugh. That was your top 10 after 200 laps of racing last week at Charlotte. Look at a few drivers down on the racetrack right here. We see the 13 of Jonathan Kibbe, a newcomer to the Half Decent Racing League. We're familiar with Jonathan from the All-American Appalachian ARCA Series. He joins us here for the Half Decent Racing League Xfinity Series here tonight. Let's see, Johnson's going to come across the line down in 6th. Colin Swanson, another driver, joining us here tonight in the 27. He's got 1 lap in so far. He's finishing up his 2nd lap right now down the back straightaway. Right now he finds himself down in the 8th spot. Can he improve his position as we see the 80 of Cliff Adams jump up into 5th? Let's take a look at our point standings as we're getting some drivers getting their qualifying laps. Matt Dickerson still holds the 6 wins on the season. Jesse Singleton right there behind him in 2nd. Did I see Jesse? I don't think I see. Oh, Jesse is here tonight. Cliff Adams, both Matt's Vortex Motorsports teammate, back there in 3rd. Jacob Barker in 4th. Shane Williams 5th. Aiden O'Neill, Charlie Bowling, Zachary Steele, Benedict Ringer, Colton Gardner rounded our top 10. And it's Connor Fuse, Cody Zeroff, Dylan McLean, Brendan McHugh, and Todd Rush. That is our top 15 currently in the point standings. Cliff Adams going to do no better than 5th for his qualifying lap. Let's take a look here at Sean McLean in the 22. Looks like he's wrapping his couple laps up. He is down in 10th. Quite a few drivers have yet to make a lap on the racetrack as we see the 51 of Jesse Singleton starting his first hot lap right here. Or his first flying lap, I guess I should say. He goes down into number 1 here at Nashville. It's a Nashville week on iRacing. Let's see who we got up in the YouTube chat. We got Bentley Music saying who's going to be the first wreck. That was a really good question. Why don't you, who's your prediction there, Bentley? Brendan McHugh is going to come across in 5th. As we see the 32 make his way around the race. A lot of patriotic paint schemes on the cars this week. Singleton, first lap, no better than 12th. Not a great lap there from Jesse. Let's see if he can improve on his 2nd lap rounds. We got the 40 of Hobbs. Also out on the racetrack, Dickerson, the 44, making his way around. He's going to come across the line, finish his first lap. Let's see where Matt goes. Matt goes up to 9th. Only a 9th place effort on Matt's first lap. Let's keep an eye on Jesse Singleton. He comes across the line for his 2nd lap. Jesse to the top of the pole at a 30.44. Right behind him is the 83 of Benedict Ringer. Let's keep an eye on the 44 as we see Matt Hobbs come around. Can only do as no better than 18th right now in his first lap. Dickerson comes across the line for his 2nd lap. He is going to be 6th. The 44 puts himself outside the 3rd row for right now. Matthew Hobbs in the 40 getting his 2nd lap win. We've got Charlie Bowling just about ready to lap, but he's just kind of coming out of the pits. Get his lap started. We'll see where Charlie goes in the number 5 Goodwrench sponsored CZ Motorsports. And let's see, here comes Hobbs across the line. Can he make any improvement on his first lap? Let's see. I'm not seeing any. If my timing is scoring is right, he ran 2 identical laps. As Barker comes across, moves himself up into 4th. So a good lap there from the 12 of Barker. Man, these guys must have unlimited vinyl graphics. They keep changing their paint schemes on me every single week. Here's a little bit different paint job here for the 12 of Barker. All right, let's keep an eye on Bowling. Bowling down the back straightaway here. I think he's on his out lap at this point. All right, let's see what the 5 can do. He comes across the line. Is this going to be his first official lap? No better than the 16th. Charlie Bowling comes across for his first lap at a 30.85, about 4/10 of a second off the pole. He has got some work to do on his 2nd lap if he wants to get up towards the front row. Bowling's been hungry for a win all season long. He can find a little patience here at Nashville. He might find his way up to the front as Chris Fuse comes across the line in the 68 down in 17. All right, it looks like Charlie is going to scrub his 2nd lap and just going to destroy the car into the front straightaway wall. So we've got just basically 1 car left. Actually, it looks like everybody that's been out on the racetrack has made their laps. We've got 2 drivers, Kevin Page and Mark Osher, that are not going to get any laps here. It looks like they're still sitting in the pits. Ringer out here making a few laps in the 83. This qualifying effort is done, so that's going to wrap up qualifying. We'll bring you the starting lineup here once we get everybody situated here. We got about a minute and a half left to go in the qualifying session. But Kevin Page and Mark Osier, I don't know, I say it different every single week. Doesn't look like they're going to make their way out onto the racetrack and put a lap in, so they're going to start tagging the field here at this point. All right, what we got? Let's bring up our race information here. Nashville Speedway, just about 1.3 miles. I'm not sure why they call it a super speedway. I think they did that to differentiate it from the short track in Nashville. 80-degree air temperature, only 84-degree track temperature. So not too bad of conditions here tonight. 4 additional tire sets from the one they started with. 1 faster pair if they need it. 3 green, white checkered attempts. 100% fuel. So we're also going to run stages. We're going to have, let me see, our first 2 stages. First stage is going to be at lap 30. Second stage will be at lap 60. And then we will go the rest of the distance, which is 125 laps. So we'll go the distance, last 65 laps. And I'm being told that fuel may not be an issue, so we may not even have to see a green flag stop during that last stint. All right, we got Bully Dog Coffee Company up in the chat one more time. 44 for the win. If I remember correctly, you can go to Bully Dog Coffee and use the code FAST44 for a discount on your order. I can't speak to how delicious Bully Dog coffee is, but as I've not had any personally, but I've been told by a few of the drivers that it's pretty damn good. So, all right, qualifying, wrapping up. We're gonna get right to our grittying up session here. All right, new sponsor on board here for the Half Decent Race League. Sunny Creek Design down in Texas is going to be supplying some trophies for the championship drivers here this season at Half Decent Race League. Coming on board this week. Thanks, Sunny Creek Design, for jumping on board. All right, so we're just drivers getting ready. We got about a minute here to get gridding up, and they're gridding up right now. So we're going to bring our starting lineup to you. So on the pole tonight in the 51, it is going to be Jesse Singleton. To his outside in the 83, Benedict Ringer. Going back to row number 2. Aiden O'Neill in 87. Going to start inside of row number 2 there in 3rd. Outside the number 12 of Jacob Barker. Back in row number 3, you're going to find the 18 Hunter Hughes with Colton Gardner to his outside. Row number 4, Matt Dickerson in the 44, your point leader, 29 and Justin Kruger right there alongside in 8th. Back to row number 5, starting the 9th spot, it's the 32 of Brendan McHugh and Cliff Adams in the 80. Get back to row number 6, starting the 11th spot, the 15 of Alan Hess. And Colin Swanson going to start in 12th. In 13th starting spot, you're going to find the 13 of Jonathan Kibbe and Stephen Farrell. Back to row number 8, starting the 15th, the 22 of Sean McLean and the 5 of Charlie Bowling. Watch for Charlie to make a charge through the field there. See if he can save some stuff till the ends this time. Back in 17th, you're going to find the 68 of Chris Fuse and Zachary Steele in the new livery there on the 88. Back in 19th, inside of row number 10, Connor Fuse in the 19 and Todd Rush in the new 55 of Liquid Death sponsored. Started in 20th. In 21st starting spot, we have the 40 of Matthew Hobbs. And then we got our choose cone car of Corey Bodeno right there. So that's something a little different you don't see in a lot of leagues. But we are getting ready to go racing here for 125 laps at Nashville. Jesse Singleton on the pole, Benedict Ringer to his outside. We roll down off of turn number 4. The iRacing pace car is going to make that hard left turn down pit road. Green flag is in the air at Nashville. Jesse Singleton down on the bottom of the racetrack. Look at Aiden O'Neill looking for a spot, but Singleton's going to lead us down into turn number 1. He's blinking on and off right there, but O'Neal, Ringer side by side. Hughes right there behind him. We're 2 by 2 all throughout the field, but Jesse Singleton already starting to drive off down the back straightaway. O'Neal now trying to sneak up here on the outside. He's got Hughes. Hughes now up 3 spots already. He's down on the bottom underneath Ringer. They're going to take that second spot away, so Hughes now going to move up to second. Ringer on the outside. Aiden O'Neal right there behind him. Then it's Barker. And it looks like last week's winner, Colton Gardner, right alongside of Matt Dickerson. This is for 6 and 7. That looked like, is that Adams? That was a 32 of McHugh right there. Pretty sideways off the corner. Does a nice job of saving it. No harm, no foul. We're still clean and green. Kruger down to the bottom. He's going to get around McHugh after that mistake. Down through the trial, we're here to complete lap number 2. It is Singleton. Singleton already almost 7/10 of a second out in front, but he appears to be having some network issues. Let's see if he can hang on there. All right, Singleton still out in front. Hughes and Ringer, Barker, O'Neal. Pretty much single file for about the top 12 spots. Get way back here a little bit. Back in 11th, we see Kruger here in the 29. And it's Cliff Adams right there behind him in 80. Watch for Cliff to come up through the front. He's usually one of those drivers going to save his tires a little bit and then make his way up through the pack. So watch the 80. Let's see if he can find his way to the front of this before this thing is over with. Right behind him, you see the is that McLean, and now underneath him is going to be Farrell. Hughes also going to make his way around the 22. Get back up towards the front. It's just single filed up. Everybody kind of patient. This is unusual early on here in one of the half-decent racing leagues. You usually see a little more side-by-side racing, but it looks like everybody just kind of being patient here. We got 120 laps left to go in this race. No reason to do anything too crazy at this point, but Hughes is starting to reel in Singleton just a little bit. It was almost 7/10 of a second. It's now down to a 4/10 of a second gap. We can see the gap right here between Singleton and Hughes. About 2.5 to 3/10 of a second. Singleton gets into the corner a little bit deeper. You can see that. You can see the differentials as they enter the corner spread out a little bit, but then Hughes reels him in from about the center off. So Hughes starting to make up some ground on Singleton. See if we can find some action here throughout the field. It's pretty much single file all the way to the back of the field right now as we get McHugh and Kruger going at it here. This is for 9th and 10th. Our big mover of the race right now, we've got a couple drivers, Hughes, Steele, both up 4 spots. Kevin Page back here towards the back, also up 4 spots. Bowling's dropped a couple spots. He's trying to get one on back. He's underneath the 19 of Hughes. That's going to put him back up into 17. All right, Hughes still slowly gaining up on Singleton. Not quite there to strike yet. But he is within a couple of cars. It's a little bit of a mistake here from Singleton, and Hughes will be right there with him. Singleton up the racetrack here off a 2. That's going to let Hughes take a look to the bottom down the back straightaway. Hughes has got the line. He's going to sneak out in front, heading into turn number 3. It looks like Singleton's going to kind of back off and let him have it. Hughes is able to slide up in front of the 51. Singleton starts to look underneath there off the corner, but just didn't have the momentum. Well, it's Hughes and Singleton now. Hughes, our second leader of the race, across the stripe here on lap. As we complete lap number 8, 917 laps left to go. So first stage will be at lap 30. So we've got about 22 laps left to go here in stage number 1. Ringer now going to take a look to the inside. We get a shot here from the inside of the 83. He's taking a look inside of Singleton to come across the line down into number 1. Singleton went off of the charge. He's kind of sliding back here just a little bit. This could be designed. Just kind of settling back in here, saving his tires a little bit. We'll see how this plays out as he takes a look back up underneath the 83. They head down the back straightaway. You see back in the distance, I saw McHugh get loose again off the corner. That 32, I think, is really struggling back there, but he's, at the same time, he's moving up through the field. He's up a spot after starting in 9th. If we take a look here at McHugh in the 32. But up front, side-by-side action now. Ringer's going to clear Singleton. Singleton's now got Barker to his outside in the 12. They're side-by-side for 3rd and 4th. All right, Hunter Hughes made his way to the front of this. He's up 4 spots, started in 5th. He got the lead on about lap 7. And he is starting to check out as a half a second gap back to the 83 of Benedict Ringer. See if we can find some action throughout the field. It looks like everybody pretty well separated out. Baby Bowling back here, bowling down underneath the 129 of Farrell. So Bowling now back up a couple of spots after starting down in 16th. He's up 14th now. Let's see what else we got going on throughout the field. Here's the 32 of McHugh right in front of there. Let's look up a little bit further. We can see Singleton there in 4th. Side by side right here for Aiden O'Neill and Gardner. This is for 5th and 6th. Gardner now going to make his way up to 5th. Well, nice shot there of last week's winner. We got what? We got Jeff up. Toad Rush. I didn't know Todd had the nickname Toad. I guess we'll have to use that one later. All right, Gardner up to 5th. McHugh and Kruger going at it. Kruger down to the inside. They're coming into turn number 1. Oh, gets down on the apron. Little Wiggles going to get up into 32. Just catches the left for a quarter. No harm, no foul. We're still going straight. Right behind these two is the 44 of Dickerson. Dickerson actually slid back 3 spots since he started this heat, down to 10th after starting in 7th. That was close right there between the 32 and the 29, but Kruger just got on that apron, slid up, got into the left for the 32, but he backed out of it, let McHugh get it straightened out, and we're still going forward. All right. Ringer starting to close in on the back of the 18 for the lead here. Ringer showing a good pace all season long. He closes up on the back of Hughes right there. As they enter turn number 3 off of Ford. Does he have a run here down the front straightaway? I think he's going to be a couple car lanes back as they come across the line. We got a good shot here coming off of turn number 2. Hughes, Ringer, Barker now to 3rd. Our pole sitter Singleton's now falling back to 4th, and he has got Colton Gardner closing in on the back of him right now. We see the 41 closing in on the 51. So back here, look at 32. Let's look at our big movers of the race. Kibbe now. Jonathan Kibbe, our newcomer here to the Half Decent Racing League. Started back in 13th. He's up to 7th. We got side-by-side battle for the lead here. Hughes on the outside, Ringer on the bottom. They touch a little bit down the back straightaway. Head into turn number 3. Ringer has got the inside line. Hughes does a good job of pinching him down to the bottom of the racetrack. It does not allow Hughes some momentum up off the corner. Come across the line. It's still going to be Hunter Hughes right there. Ringer doing everything he can to make his way around. Let's see if Hughes can do the same strategy. It gets a little bit loose right there. Hughes got a little bit loose getting in the corner. Had to back out. He's going to get into the back of the 83 right there. As they come off of turn number 2. I didn't see anything that warranted any kind of retaliation. But as we jump on the hood here with Hughes, I think it might have just been a little mistake as he came off the corner. Got into the back of the 83, but got off the throttle and didn't turn him around. So we're going to keep going here. Come across the line to complete lap number 18. 107 laps left to go in this race. So a long, long way to go. 12 laps left to go in the stage number 1. But as Ringer, Hughes, and Barker closing in on this battle, Singleton's starting to regroup a little bit as well. So Singleton and Gardner, we're going to have a 5-car battle here pretty shortly. As you can see, O'Neill kind of lurking back there in the 6th spot as well. So Ringer, Hughes, Barker, that's your top 3. A little bit further back, we got some side-by-side action going on with McLean and Hughes. All right. Oh, lost my timing and scoring. There we go. All right, back up to the front. Ringer's starting to get a little separation back to Hughes. It's about 0.4 of a second now at this point. Got Jeff Burke up there saying Kibbles and Bits. Where is Kibbles and Bits? Kibbles back here in 10th. He's got Kruger to his inside. So Jonathan Kibbe moved up a couple spots, but he's in. Looks like he's going to lose a spot here as Kruger's going to go by for 10th. A little further back, we got some more action going on back here. This is back in the back, about 20th. This is Hobbs and Rush. Todd Rush not having a great run. He's qualified in 20th. He's back to 21st. Right back towards the front of the pack here. Third place, Jacob Barker. Jesse Singleton starting to close back in here. Let's see if the 51 might have saved a little bit. Keep an eye on the fourth place running. You can watch our little telemetry here. Got her wound up in fourth gear as he takes a look underneath. The 12 of Barker. He's got a good run here off of turn number 4. Singleton's going to move himself back up to third. Gardner going to follow suit. Gardner's going to follow it. Singleton right by Barker as they come across the line. Gardner up to fourth. Up front, it is still Ringer. It's about 0.3 of a second gap. That's where it's been here for the last little bit. We'll take a look. Take a look at the gap right here between first and second. It's still about just under 0.4. Saw a little smoke or dust going on in there in the infield. Let's see what that was about. All right, Kibbe's going to give himself back around Kruger for 10th. Up the road just a little bit, you see Dickerson, McHugh, and Adams. So Benedict Ringer, Timu Joe Gibbs right here of Kruger and Hobbs, first, 11th, and 23rd. Let's take a look at our Championship 5 to see where they're on the racetrack round. Dickerson, our points leader, in 9th. Singleton 3rd. Adams 7th. Barker in 5th. And Williams did not make the race tonight. All right, a little side-by-side action going on with Barker. Barker's going to try to get back around Gardner. I just called him Bardner. That's all right. Jacob Barker in the 12. Back up to 4th. Gardner's going to fall back to 5th. Good shot as they come across the start-finish line. 5 laps left to go here in stage number 1. Lap 26 of 30. 129 to Farrell. This is for 17th and 18th. Fuge is going to make his way by. Fuge now up a couple of spots after starting at 19th. He's now up to 17th. Matt Dickerson in the 44. Started in 7th. He's running 9th right now. Not having one of his stellar days. We usually see Matt Dickerson up towards the front. Let's see if he's going to save something for later. His teammate Cliff Adams just up the road. As a matter of fact, all 3 Vortex Motorsports drivers right there nose to tail with Adams, McHugh, and Dickerson. All right, 3 laps left to go in stage number 1. Right now it is Benedict Ringer out in front by 1.1 seconds. It's his stage to win right now. Hughes now falling back into the clutches of the 51 of Singleton. Well, side-by-side action going on back here. This is Kibbe up on the outside of Steele. Zachary Steele looking to make his way around Steele. One of our biggest movers of the race. He's up 7 spots, and it looks like he's at the 68 of Chris Fuse. Also going to work a little contact there with Kibbe and Fuse. Kibbe's going to get into the outside wall. He's going to stay glued to that wall. He's kind of got a hold of the 13. He's trying to get off of it. Little contact right there between the 68 and the 13. And you can see some damage there on the right front. He's only got about a lap and a half left to go before the end of the stage. So if he can just limp around, he can get to come in under that caution at the stage. And the right front looks like it's towed in pretty heavily right there. Might have been a tie rod on it. So we'll keep an eye on Kibbe to see if he can keep going. But your leaders are going to come across the line. This should complete stage number 1. Benedict Ringer. They're going to throw it at the end of lap 30. Usually they throw it at the beginning of the lap, so we'll see how this plays out. But it looks like they're going to throw it at the end of lap 30. So Ringer still looks to win the stage. He's got a lap car just up the road in front of him there. Kibbe's going to make his way down pit road. Just could not limp around any longer after that contact. Oh, and Swanson's still on the racetrack as well. That looks, but you can see the leader not too far behind Swanson and Hobbs. That should complete the stage right there. So that's going to be the end of stage number 1. So Hobbs driving down to the bottom of the racetrack. So Ringer going to be your winner there. Stage number 1 is Ringer, Hughes, Singleton, Gardner, and Barker, your top 5 as we come to the end of lap 30. So it looks like we still have... So Kibbe was able to come down and get some repairs. Looks like he might have used his fast repair as much damage as he had. He's going to get back out. Back on the lead lap. He was the... Yeah, I guess he did lose a lap there at that point. So let's see if he gets the lucky dog here or not. Alright, end of lap 30 there. We're at stage number 1. We're going to need some pit stops going here. We're going to go ahead and step away for just a moment. So as we come back, Ringer, Hughes, Singleton, that's your top 3. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Now, driver, while the field gets sorted out and someone out there is still trying to find reverse, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the middle of a race and thought, man, I really wish someone in my headset would tell me what the hell is going on? Maybe you're running out of fuel. Maybe the leader is about to lap you. Maybe you just wrecked half the field and you're pretending it wasn't your fault. Well, driver, that's where I come in. AI Chief, your personal crew chief, race strategist, motivator, and occasionally the only voice of reason between you and the outside wall. With AI Chief you get live race strategy, fuel and pit calls, real-time race updates, savage coaching when you start doing something dumb, and trust me, based on what I've seen out there tonight, some of you really need the help. AI Chief doesn't just tell you when to pit, he tells you when to save fuel, when to push, and when to maybe, just maybe, stop trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. So if you're tired of racing blind, and you'd like a crew chief that actually knows what he's doing, head over to AIChiefRacing.com and let Chief get you sorted out. Because the only thing worse than wrecking is wrecking without knowing why. AI Chief, I've got your back. Now let's get back to the action.
Alright, we're back to live action. You can see Corey Bodeno out there, our race controller, also out there in the choose cone, the Enforcer choose cone Camaro. And you can see drivers getting to choose top or bottom of the racetrack wherever they want to start this next restart at. We jump on board here with Corey. You just see everybody coming at him. Alright, so after we cycle through our pit stops here at stage number 1, your leader is still Benedict Ringer. Hunter Hughes, Jesse Singleton, Colton Gardner looks like all maintain the top 4 spots. Cliff Adams with a good move. He's up to 5th. So a good pit stop there for Cliff Adams. And it's Aiden O'Neill, Jacob Barker, Matt Dickerson, Brendan McHugh lost a couple of spots. He's now down to 9th. Zachary Steele, Justin Kruger, Alan Hess, Charlie Bowen, Sean McLean, and Connor Fuse. That's your top 15. Alright, let's see. It doesn't look like the 13 is going to get his lap back there after those repairs, so we'll keep an eye on Kibbe back there after that contact with the outside wall. We get back to racing here. The lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go back to racing on lap 34. We will go to lap 60 for stage number 2. As we come up to the Corbin Matthews restart zone, it's Benedict Ringer out in front, bringing us to the line. Green flag in the air one more time. Ringer, Hughes, Singleton. Hughes with a good run up on the outside. Singleton down on the bottom. They're side by side. Wade a little further back, and you see Adams. Adams looking to get around Gardner, but now Singleton's going to be side by side with Gardner, and it's right behind him is Adams and O'Neill. Adams takes a look to the inside, thinks about making it 3 wide. He's going to back out. Thinks the better of it. He's going to slide back a spot. He is now up alongside of Gardner for 4th. So Cliff Adams with a good run here in the 80. Down the bottom of the racetrack, you see Barker. Barker been running the top 3 for a good part of the race. He slides back to 8th after this pit stop. So not a great start there for Barker here after he's been running up towards the front. Now falls down to 8th. He's got Matt Dickerson to his outside. So you see right up in front there, Adams in 4th. He's going to get up alongside of Gardner. Ringer and Hughes now. Across the line they go. Hughes up on the outside. He's got a good run into 1. He's going to back out of it. Let's see if he tries to cross under as Ringer gets in a little deep right there. The car pushes up in the center. He gets a little bit loose off the corner. That might allow Hughes to have a run down the back straight. Well, let's see if the 18 can clear Benedict Ringer into 3. Side by side into turn 3. It's Ringer and Hughes. Hughes now back to the front. It's a battle down into turn number 3. Let's see if Ringer does the same thing that Hughes did to him by keeping him pinched down to the bottom of the racetrack as they head into turn number 1. No, Ringer's going to give him lots of space on the bottom. That is going to allow Hughes to bring the car up off the corner, open the steering wheel off the corner, bring it up the racetrack. But here comes Ringer back to the inside, down into 3. So a good battle up front, and Ringer is going to lose momentum. He's going to have to fall down behind the 18. He slips in between the 18 and the 51 of Singleton. Now Singleton back up to 3rd. Appreciate you spending your time here with us on a Friday night. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, give us a like. Looks like we may have had an incident going back here with Rush and Farrell. We'll keep an eye on that as well. You see the Todd Rush in the 55. Looks like both sides of the car are pretty straight. He's going forward. We'll jump back up front. We got another battle here. Ringer back to the inside of Hughes. They've been going at it for about the last 15 or 20 laps, back and forth. Here comes Ringer back to the lead. So a great battle up here for the lead between Benedict Ringer and the 18 of Hunter Hughes as the sun's starting to set here at Nashville. Keep an eye on the 80 of Adams. He is right there as well. He moved up into 4th. He's up 6 spots in this one. You see back there in the back, you see Barker looking underneath the 32 of McHugh. That is for 7th. So Barker trying to make his way back up towards the front. McHugh right there as well. Just up the road a little bit is Dickerson in the 44. So our big mover of the race so far looks to be Adams up 6 spots. Charlie Bolin also up 6 spots. As we see the 5 right here, as he's just going to get himself around Kruger in the 29. So Charlie Bolin started back in 16th, moving up slowly through the field. All right, back up front, still Ringer and Hughes. So Ringer, let's take a look at our lap leaders here so far. I think it's only been 3 drivers that has. Benedict Ringer's led 21. Hughes led 12. Singleton led 8 early on. One of our sponsors, Collateral Damage Sports Network, bringing us a lot of our fancy graphics you see on the screen, all of our SDK overlays and all that. So if you need some stuff done, go over and find Shane Cochran over on the SDK Discord. He'll get you all hooked up. If you're just looking for some graphics, if you're looking for a whole custom setup for the SDK software, he'll help you out with that too. All right, here's the 12 of Barker. He's going to take a look to the inside of McHugh for 7th. They're side by side through 3 and 4. They're going to make a little bit of contact as Barker slides up the racetrack. Barker's going to drive it back down to the bottom of the trial. It looks like Bolin going to try to take advantage of the situation right there as well, as it looks like O'Neill had to check up a little bit. Bolin alongside of O'Neill for 9th, the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Kruger back there in 11th, also sneaking into the picture. A good battle going on here in the midfield right now as McHugh's going to clear the battle. Up front, I think I saw Dickerson and Adams and Gardner going out. So Adams up to 4th. Gardner takes a look to the inside. Matt Dickerson can now go look to the outside of Colton Gardner. That is for 5th. Still some good action going on back here. Boland's going to look to make it 3 wide on the outside. Thinks better. He drives down the racetrack. Kruger's now up alongside as well. So Barker, Kruger, Boland, Fuse also right as well. McHugh was able to get around this. He's starting to get away from this group a little bit. That's O'Neill in the 87. Barker's falling back to 9th after running in the top 3 early on. Look at our leader. It is still 0.4, about a half a second gap actually back to second. As Hughes made up some ground off a 2 right there. He's cutting it down to about 3/10. But you can see Ringer just gets into the corner a little deeper. Watch that differential right there as they come up off the corner. And it looks like Hughes is a little better off the corner. Ringer's better in the corner. So, and I'd much rather be better off the corner right there because you can just see Hughes cut that down to under 3/10 of a second as they come off of turn number 4. All right, 45 laps down, 80 left to go. Still Benedict Ringer out in front. Let's find some action on the racetrack here somewhere. I think we still got this battle going on in this mid-pack here. This from 10th on back. Bowling, Kruger, Fuse right there as well. O'Neill and Barker. Nobody really able to get clear of anybody here. So we've only had 1 caution flag in the race so far, and that was for the end of the stage. So no cautions for incidents so far, or for cause as they would say. As we look at the 5 of Bowling, looking up underneath 12 of Barker. Just not close enough to get a run. Barker pushes up the racetrack off of 4. That's going to allow Bowling to get down to the bottom. Can he get enough speed through the trial to take that 9th spot away? They're side by side across the line. Bowling's going to be able to drive down into turn number 1 a lot deeper than Barker. He's going to take that spot away. He's going to slide up in front of him here. Almost thought he was going to try to go to the outside of O'Neill, but Bowling able to slide up in front of Barker. And Barker caught the outside wall. He's going to lose a couple more spots as Kruger and Fuse are going to go by as well. Top 5 pretty much settled in right single file. Ringer, Hughes, Singleton. And as I say that, Singleton is blinking on the screen, which moves him up and down the leaderboard. So Singleton still there in 3rd, Adams in 4th. All right, here's our side-by-side action on the racetrack. We got Connor Fuse in the 19 taking a look to the inside of Barker for 11th. And you can see the right front tires are already starting to wear out a little bit as Fuse not able to hold the bottom. The car pushes up in the center. He has to check up a little bit, and that's going to let Barker drive away from him. There's Chris Fuse and Alan Hess. I don't think we've checked in on these 2 guys today. Fuse back here in 15th. Keep an eye on the 13th to Kibbe. He's still a lap down here in 23rd. Another newcomer to the group tonight, Colin Swanson. We saw him win a race on Wednesday night. Not having as good a luck here tonight as he's back in 22nd. Let's keep an eye up here in the front of the pack here to see if Gardner's not able to do anything with Adams right there. They're just got 50 laps down. We've got about 9-10 laps left to go here to complete stage number 2. Doesn't look like, we're all look pretty even up here in the front. Nobody has a little advantage on anybody. As I say that, Dickerson takes a look to the inside of Gardner. Across the line, Matt Dickerson looking to move up into 5th. Gardner, I was going to say Gardner was going to put up much of a fight, but here he comes back on the outside. These 2 have gone at it all season long. You see the 40 and the 41 and the 44 off at turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. Watch Dickerson get a run into the corner. And then let's see if Gardner can fight back from the center off, and he does just that. He's able to get back into the throttle a little bit sooner. As Dickerson has to hold the car down to the bottom of the racetrack. They come off at turn number 4 through the trial section. And looks like Gardner's going to have the spot as they cross the line. Good action going on here. This time Dickerson's able to get a good run into turn number 1. He is able to slide up in front of Gardner, take that spot away. So Matt Dickerson now up to 5th. Jesse Singleton and Cliff Adams. Adams closed up on the back of the 51. This is for third. Jesse's won a couple races this season, both at the road courses. And here comes Adams. Adams going to get by him. So Cliff Adams' last win came back at Texas. Pretty similar track. A little bit bigger, but a similar track to Nashville. But Cliff's got some good pace right here. He's shown good pace all season long. He's now up 7 spots. After not a great qualifying effort, Cliff Adams now up to third. Aiden O'Neill and Brendan McHugh going at it here. Right behind him is the 5 of Bolin. It's O'Neill down to the bottom off of 4. Just did not have enough of a run to get up alongside of the 32. He's going to try it down into turn number 1. Watch the 87, take a look to the inside. Not able to get there. He's going to stay back in 8. Alan Hess and Matt Hobbs going at it here. The 40 and the 15. This is back for 16th and 17th. And Hobbs is going to get around Hess. All right, so keep an eye on this battle right here. O'Neill, McHugh right there, Bolin right there behind him. O'Neill is going to get around McHugh at the line. Can he hold on to it down into turn number 1? Here comes 87. McHugh fights back up on the outside. Brendan McHugh wants to hold on to that 7th spot, but O'Neill's coming at him. They know they've got a caution coming out here in just a few laps, so they'll come in to get some new tires. They've got 4 sets of tires to use during this race. Everybody probably used one back on that first pit stop. It looks like everybody did. The little contact right there between the 87 and the 32. And O'Neill is going to clear the 32 across the start-finish line this time. They've been going at it for about the last 4 or 5 laps. O'Neill able to finally make the pass. And right there behind him is the 5. The 5 of Bowling takes a look to the inside off the corner. Get back up here. Looks like we got a battle going on up here for third and fourth. There was Singleton and Adams. Adams on the outside. Singleton on the bottom. Singleton pushes a little bit off of 4. Adams has to check up. Singleton did not want to give up that spot, as he knows we're getting close to the end of stage number 2. He wants those stage points. Teammates right here, Cliff Adams and Matt Dickerson, they don't want to do anything to hurt each other right here, so they're going to single file back out right there. Their fight is with Singleton in the 51. It's a little too early in the race to fight with your teammate. And I just noticed the DRSN sticker down on the bottom of the 80. Thanks, Cliff, for throwing that on there. Can we zoom in and see that on the door of the 80? Let's see there. Way down on the left, right behind the left front tire. All right. Out in front, Benedict Ringer. He is now almost 9/10 of a second out in front. Well, appreciate that. Is that Charisse? Charisse? I guess that's just Charisse by the way the name's spelled. Appreciate that. All right, let's find some action here. It looks like we got some more action going on back here with Barker and Kruger now. They're side by side as Bolin's got around McHugh. Barker to the outside of Kruger, down into 1. Off of turn number 2, it's going to be Kruger down on the bottom of the racetrack. Barker on the outside. Barker's able to get the run off the top. It's back up in the 10th. We're going to come across the line to complete stage number 2. Caution in the air. That is going to bring us to the end of the stage. It's going to be Ringer. Once again, winning the stage. Hunter Hughes right there behind him. Jesse Singleton comes home in 3rd. Adams, Dickerson, Gardner. That's your top 6, and it's Aiden O'Neill, Charlie Bowling with a good run up to 8th. McHugh, Barker. That's your top 10. Here's we complete stage number 2. All right, as caution flies this time by, we're going to take another quick break. Give me a chance to get a drink. This time we'll have a really quick commercial here from our buddies over at CDSN, Collateral Damage Sports Network. We'll be right back.
The Collateral Damage Sports Network overlays can take your broadcast to the next level. Whether you want to kick off the show with our all-new infographics or wrap it up with our Race Results 2.0 with podium and superlatives. In the race, dive in to see who got on and off pit road the fastest. and then use our head-to-head plug-in package to know exactly when your driver will catch the leader. For your onboard cameras, you've got to have the tower telemetry. Then for the rest of your broadcast, keep up with all the action with alerts for penalties, off-tracks, and other events, stage break grids, alternative leaderboards, special event plugins like the Indy 500 qualifying, and a ton more to keep up with all your favorite drivers from start to finish, from country to country, and pull your standings directly from SimRacer Hub. Join all of our elite broadcasting partners and find your next broadcast upgrade at collateraldamagesportsnetwork.com.
All right, back to live time. Let's see who's going to win the race off of pit road. It looks like it's going to be Hughes. Hughes with a good, quick pit stop, gets out of the pits in a hurry. Hughes going to go back out in front, Ringer to second. Adams is going to get around Singleton for third. Singleton falls back to fourth. Dickerson's going to hang on to fifth. Aiden O'Neill, Colton Gardner was the biggest loser during that pit cycle. Let's see if we can. Gardner down to seventh. And you can see his in and out time was a little bit slow. But Hughes with the fastest pit stop at a 14.5. That's going to give him the lead right there. And not just that, but his in and out, his in time and out time, the total pit lane time of 45.1 seconds gave him the advantage. And that's going to put Hunter Hughes out in front as we're going to go back to racing on about lap 62 or 63. All right, it looks like everybody's back on the lead lap at this point. We see Kibbe Farrell down there. Farrell's down in 23rd. He is going to get the wave around. So it looks like all 23 cars that started this race, all still in the race and also on the lead lap. Not something you see very often that halfway through a race here at a track like Nashville, but we're 62 laps down, 63 to go. So we're just now reaching the halfway point here of the 125 lap race for the Half Decent Racing League. Don't forget, we got more action coming your way tomorrow night. The JWR E-Racing Super, we call it Saturday Night Fever. That is the Super Speedway money racing. It's all part of the money racing community. They put on a great show every Saturday night. We get every so often we get a chance to get on here and broadcast it. So whenever we get a chance, we do that. So tomorrow night, JWR E-Racing. I think we're running ARCA cars at Talladega tomorrow night. But you'll see some of the best Super Speedway drivers in all of iRacing here with us tomorrow. Do not miss that one. It's going to be a fun one. And the next Tuesday night, we're also back for the Dirty Old Bastards ARCA Series and the Western Racing League Truck Series. We're going to go green flag racing here at Nashville once again. Hunter Hughes, as we're going to come back to the Corbin Matthews restart zone. Green flag in the air one more time. Hughes with a fantastic jump. He's going to get about 3 car lengths gap out to Ringer side by side. Singleton also with a good jump right there. He gets alongside of Adams, but Adams able to get the inside line. He's going to take third as we head into turn number 1. Right behind him, Dickerson and McHugh. Now McHugh had moved up into the top 7 or 8 there on the restart as well. So a good pit stop from Brendan McHugh. He was able to get around a few cars at Bowling. What happened to Charlie Bowling? All the way down to 18th. Charlie must have got a black flag. He did. We had Charlie Bowling with a black flag, Barker with a black flag. Looks like Kibbe also with a black flag. So we had a bunch of drivers. So let's see how this plays out, but Bowling did not a good start. He made his way up through the field, now down to 16th after that, right where he started at. But up front is Hughes, Ringer, Adams, and they've got a little, hard into the outside wall. That looked like, was that Osher? Osher involved in this. It looks like you can see the hood up on the 17. No caution flag. Alan, I thought I saw Alan Hess. You can see. I'm not quite sure how Osher's driving this thing right now. As you can see, the hood up in his face. Caution is out for the second time. Alan Hess involved in this as well. The hood's finally going to fall out of the way of Mark Osher as he jumped down into the pit. As you can see, it's heavy damage on the nose of the 17 as we go right back to caution here after we went to restart after stage number 2. Like maybe Kevin Page also involved in the 99 as he makes his way down pit road. All right, let's see if we can see what happened here. Keep an eye on Hess in the 15. It looks like it starts with him bowling down to his inside. This is down to, and Hess just gets loose and overcorrects the car, drives it into the outside wall. And Osher comes along, nowhere to go. Hard contact into the back of the 15. Let's take another look at that in live time from Osher's view. As you can see, the hood right up in his face. So you can see Hess getting to the wall in front of him, just really nowhere for Osher to go. And he just gets right in the back. You see the hood right up in his face. He's looking at the bottom of the 15 car. Todd Rush going to get a little piece of that. Not too much damage there on the 55. He's going to drive away. But I thought I saw Page also involved. Yeah, he gets a little piece of it as well. You maybe see a little damage there on the right front. All right, caution once again. And on my soapbox, I like to get on every once in a while. It's usually it's what I don't like about these stages, because cautions breed cautions. And you get a caution flag for the stage, and immediately we go back to caution, get everybody grouped back up, as we were having some good single file racing here and there. But unfortunate there for Osher, Hess making a mistake. As we went back to green flag racing, Mark still down on pit road. Where is Mark? Is he even still in the car? I think Mark may have retired. He may have used his fast repair early on in the night. All right, Hunter Hughes still out in front of this thing, as he made a great pit stop at the end during stage number 2. So it looks like we still got about maybe 5 or 6 cars who can win this race, maybe even more. I'm looking back about the top 7 or 8. Everybody looks to have pretty equal pace. Let's take a look here at the. Oh, we gotta give Corey some screen time here in the choose cone car, as he makes his way back to the pits. All right, we're side by side down the back straight. We'll go green flag racing here one more time. Take a look at our fastest drivers in the race. Page with a fit. I don't think that's accurate. I think that's a glitch. Well, that was the last lap. Look at the 5 best laps race. There we go. Barker with the 30.64. He was right there behind him with a 67. Ringer going. You can just see how close those times are right there. Just a little over 1/10 of a second between our 5 fastest times of the race. All right, one more time. I keep forgetting hitting the yellow flag button. But we're going to hit the Corbin Matthews restart button right here. Corbin Matthews restart zone. Bring us to the line one more time. Hughes, Ringer, Adams. That's your top 3. And Hughes with another good jump here. He's going to get about 5 car lengths separation. And Adams with a good jump on that restart. He is going to clear Ringer now for second. Cliff Adams in 80 now, up 8 spots after starting 10th. He's now got himself up into second. And if Ringer, Singleton, O'Neill also with a good run. He didn't qualify well, but fell back, and he's coming back up through her. Gets into the corner pretty deep right there. He's going to drive up into the 51, and you can see back there behind him and Ringer is going to hook that right rear, turn the 87 into the outside wall, and around he's going to go. The 51's going to drive away, but O'Neill with some heavy contact right there. And you can see lots of damage on the front and the right front of the 87. We'll go back and take a look at that. Let's see if we can find a good camera angle up here. Well, that's definitely not it. So you can see as I get in a corner right here, you can see O'Neill just gets in the corner deep, drives up the racetrack. He starts to go back down and gets away from the 51. And the 51 just gets into that right rear quarter and does not lift out of the throttle and just turns the 87 into the outside wall. So the 87, hard contact. Here comes McHugh. He's going to get into it. Contact from behind on the 51 of Fuse and Zachary Steele. So McHugh, and then McHugh's going to come down and collect Barker, and also it looks like the 68 or the 88 of Steele going to go around as well. So we see McHugh spinning off down into the grass. All right, we're under caution now for the, I believe it's the 4th time. 2 for the stages and 2 for incident. We see O'Neill getting some repairs. Hughes still out on the racetrack, so fuel's definitely not going to come into play at this point. If we get a couple more cautions, we might see somebody dive down pit road for some tires late in the race. As we see some drivers down pit road with Singleton, both fuses, Connor and Chris, and Jacob Barker down and getting some repairs done. I think we've lost one car out of the race. That's Mark Osher. O'Neill used his fast repair. He's back out on the racetrack. All right, so we had a couple good long green flag runs between the stages, but once we got going here after stage number 2 to start the last stage of the race, we've got a couple of quick cautions here. I want to thank you for joining us here. What do we got up there? Stelz is sitting under the grandstands at Nashville Superspeedway watching us. That's awesome, man. We're rooting on the SMR boys. Let's see what the SMR guys are right now. Chris Fuse, the only SMR driver left on the racetrack right now. Back in 17th. Alright, the 18 of Hunter Hughes, as that Outlier Speed Company, is that what I saw sponsoring the number 18 out in front of this. Couple of our, another one of our other sponsors, Corbin Matthews, country music singer's been with us for a while. If you like some good country music, check out Corbin. Got some new music coming out again in another week or two. Alright, Hughes going to take the bottom of the racetrack. Ringer's going to go to the top. Looks like Adams chose the bottom even though he was in second. Alright, 72 down, 53 to go, so we'll have 52 laps left to go when we go back to the green flag race, and as lights are on, they're back on. They were off there for a second. Lights are back on, and they're off again. So somebody's race control is playing around with something over there. Alright, green flag's going to fly this time around. Hunter Hughes, Benedict Ringer, Cliff Adams, that's your top 3. And it's Gardner, Dickerson, Bowling with a good run. And Charlie Bowling being consistent all day long. It's a good run for Charlie. He's now up to 6th after starting back in 16th. Alright, lights are out on the iRacing pace card. Corbin Matthews restart zone. We're back to green flag racing here for Hunter Hughes. Ringer does a little bit better job hanging on, anticipating this start. Hughes did not get quite as big of a jump as he had been, but we're side by side for second. Adams now going to take second spot, back away from Ringer. Dickerson now trying to follow by and make his way around Gardner for 4th. Not able to clear him. And right there behind him is the 5 of Bowling. So Bowling now looking to sneak into the top 5 as he's right up alongside the 44. Gardner's going to get away. Watch Bowling now on the outside of Dickerson. He's got a good run down the front straightaway. He's going to take that top 5 spot away from Matt Dickerson. Gardner looks to the inside. Ringer goes down to block it off. I thought Gardner was going down to take the inside away from Ringer. Ringer jumped down in front of him. Charlie Bowling now up to 4th. Looks like Singleton off the racetrack down in the grass. See if we can go back and see what happened to Jesse Singleton after getting involved in that last caution. I think he might have been given a penalty as he was way back in the back of the field here. Let's take a quick look here and see what happened to Singleton here after this restart. But he's down there on the bottom. He just gets loose right there. Does a good job of really not hitting anybody else. I mean, he got into the side of Hess of the 15, but it looked just kind of got the air sucked off the back of the 51. And around he goes. He's going to get it gathered back up. So Jesse Singleton started up outside the front row. Ran up in front most of this race. He now finds himself way back in 22nd. Ringer's going to get into the left rear quarter. Adams gets it safe. Gardner's going to go around. 41's going to go around. It's going to collect Bowling. Adams going to get hit one more time in the back, it looked like. The 41 involved. I see O'Neill here involved. I saw McHugh also involved. I was trying to get a camera angle, but somehow Adams was able to jump the pit road on me there. All right, let's see where that started at. It looked like I started out with some contact between Ringer and Adams. Let's see if we can see what happened here. You see Ringer taking a look down to the inside of Adams. This is going into turn number 1. Adams not giving him a whole lot of space here, but it's still his line at this point. So let's see what Ringer does. Ringer tries to stick his nose in. He's got his nose up along the left rear, and they're just going to get together. And around is going to go Cliff Adams. And Ringer gets him back in the left front as well. So I think Adams was going to drive away from this. A little bit of net code right there between Bowling and Gardner. There's a little gap right there between him, but Gardner still went around. Bowling gets into him one more time as they're trying to get straightened out. That's going to send Gardner around. And as he comes back up the racetrack, he catches the left rear of Bowling and then right up into Adams. And as Bowling comes down across the racetrack, does he get hit again? I see Gardner still back there. I mean, here comes the 129. I don't know what he's thinking. He could have been slowing up at this point. Hobbs also getting involved. So the 129 of Farrell just drives into the side of Bowling. We're in the ARCA cars. I guess that's a term. That's ARCA braking right there, as I would call it. So let's take a look at this here, kind of in live time. One more time as we're going back under caution here for the 5th time tonight. See the initial contact right there. Gardner and Bowling getting together. And I want to watch right here from inside of Farrell's car. As you can see, he sees Bowling up there in front of him. Let's rewind that just a little bit. I want to look at something here. You see the crash happening up in front of him. Alright. So some good cars tore up in this one. Bowling had been charging up to the front. He's involved in it. Adams involved as well. Ringer, Gardner also involved in this one. We got some good cars knocked out of this race, or at least with some heavy damage. They're going to fall back to the field. We currently got about 47 laps left to go in this one. Hunter Hughes out in front, Kruger. And it looks like Ringer is going to come down pit road here. I don't think he took a whole lot of damage there, but he may be taking advantage just to get his last, maybe his 3rd or 4th set of tires on the car. Let's see, where did Matt Dickerson go? Mr. Dickerson fell down to 9th. Singleton, the big gainer now, and he's going to get himself all the way back up to 8th after falling way back in the field. So it looks like here by lap 78, so we've got drivers at pitted. We've got Dickerson, Barker, Gardner, all came down pit road. Swanson, Jonathan Kibbe's down pit road again. He's getting his way back up through the field up to 14th after falling back early. But up front, it's going to be Hughes and Kruger. So caution number 5, 3rd caution for cause at this point. Lights are still on the pace car. We're going to go around at least one more time. So a little bit different look up at the front. Actually, lights are out. We're going to go green flag racing. So it's Hughes, Kruger, Fuse, and Fuse. So a couple drivers up front here that have not been up front all day long. Let's see how they can do here on the restart. Green flag in the air one more time. Hunter Hughes drives away by about 5 or 6 car lengths. Back to Chris Fuse and Justin Kruger. Kruger on the outside of Fuse. He's going to move up in that 2nd spot, but here comes Chris Fuse. Chris Fuse in the 68. Going to take the 2nd spot away. O'Neill right here as well. So watch the 87. The 87 contact with the outside wall with Connor Fuse. But O'Neill's showing some really good pace here tonight, but he is now up to 5th. It's getting a little spicy and dicey up here right now. It's Kruger and Chris Fuse. Connor Fuse back there in the 19. He's alongside of Aiden O'Neill. O'Neill comes across the line in 4th. Chris Fuse now in 3rd. Kruger up to 2nd. I saw back to the corner. We got Todd Rush looking to make it 3 wide on the outside of Dickerson. He's going to think the better. He's going to settle back behind. We got Gardner right there as well. Looks like Colin Swanson in the 27. We saw him pick up a win the other night at Watkins Glen in the AAES on Wednesday night. He's now got himself up into the top 10. But Hunter Hughes driving away about 9/10 of a second gap now. We check in on this battle back here for 3rd and 4th. They got single file out there. And we got caution in the air. Caution in the air one more time. Not see what this one is for. It looks like it's the 41 of Gardner. Gardner going to get involved in another caution here. So let's see if we see more damage. I think he must have used his fast repair on that last one. So let's see if he can come down pit road and get some repairs. Then you see the back of the car still all tore up. Let's see what happened to Colton Gardner. He's 3 wide here in the middle between Barker and Rush. And let's see what happens as they're coming down into turn number through the trial. Is this through the trial section? It looks like here at this point. Let's just go live time. So let's see what happens here with Gardner. Rush is going to catch the right rear quarter there. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's go to a chase cam here. There's a good shot. All right, so let's see as they're coming across the line. Gardner just kind of moves up the racetrack right there. I don't really know if Todd really could have done a whole lot. But it also looked like maybe a little net code. That'd be the second net code there with Gardner. Is when Bowling got into him in that last caution. Didn't really look like any contact either, but didn't really look like they contacted right there, but it was definitely close enough. But Hughes now out in front, 40 laps left to go. Get back to live racing action here. We got a few more drivers coming down pit road. We see the 41 at Gardner. Kruger, Kibbe, Ringer also down pit road. It looks like Ringer's back out in 14th right now. All right, so we're gonna step away one more time. Give us a chance to play another commercial. Get a drink of Coke, some good Coca-Cola. And here's a word from admin box. We'll be right back. Alright, we are back live. We're riding on our Choose Cone car. Corey Bodeno's got the Camaro out this week. Alright, that's enough camera time for you there, Corey. Alright, back to our leaders up front. Hunter Hughes, Chris Hughes, Connor Hughes, Aiden O'Neill, Jesse Singleton, your top 5. Jesse with a good rebound. He's kind of been up and down throughout the field. If we take a look here at one of our graphics, you can actually see. Get rid of that other graphic on there, but you can see Jesse Singleton here all the way down to 22nd here late in the race. Just made his way back up here pretty quickly. Some timely cautions have really helped him out. Alright, Hunter Hughes led the most laps in this race. Lights are going to go out on the pace car. We're going to come off of turn number 4. One more time to the Corbin Matthews restart zone. It's Hughes, Fuse, and O'Neill. And it looks like Chris Hughes actually on the outside. Spun the tires there. It really hurt that outside line as Hughes and Connor Hughes are able to get away. So Chris Hughes kind of falls back to third. Singleton and O'Neill right there side by side behind us. So Singleton with a good run here, up off of 4. Keep an eye on us with a 51 and 87. They got together earlier in this race. Looks like they're going to both give each other room to race here off the corner, off of turn number 4. This time by, I think I saw Connor Hughes catch a little piece of the outside wall right at the start-finish line. But here comes Hunter Hughes still out in front. Connor Hughes reeling him in. Connor did pick up a win earlier this season, if I remember correctly, if I can find my schedule. Connor picked up the win the very first race of the season at Daytona. We missed that one, but he's got a really good run going here tonight. He's up to second. Kevin Page is going to go around the 99. Brendan McHugh caught a big piece of it. And caution is in the air, and that's going to be our admin box caution, our 7th caution of the race. As we got Brendan McHugh and Kevin Page both involved. And you can see that car is crab walking down pit road. Not what you want to see from the 99. He's going to make his way down to his pit box. See if he's got a faster pair left on that 99. Let's go back and see what happened here. So we see McHugh on the top of the racetrack. He's got Matt Hobbs down to his inside. And McHugh is right against the outside wall. Hobbs comes up the racetrack. Let's see if it goes any further. They get down to the corner. It may already be happening up in front of him. Actually, it looked like Barker got together. It was up in front of what I was looking at here. As it looked like Barker got together with the Page. So Page in the middle of the racetrack, Barker on the bottom. And just, they get together right there. When Barker gets into the left rear quarter of the 99, McHugh just really nowhere to go. And we are under caution once again. So caution number 7. And we had really good long green flag runs. I don't think we've ran more than maybe 5-6 laps since we went back to green flag racing after the end of stage number 2. And you can see Colton and Gardner. We got a few drivers coming down pit road. You see Gardner down here. It looks like McHugh right there behind him. All right, when we got done with the end of stage 2, we had 23 cars still in this race, 23 cars on the lead lap. We are down. Let's see how many cars are out of this race now. I see at least 3 cars out completely. Charlie Boland's been down pit road for a while, so that's probably 4. And we've got only 17 cars, right as I can see right now, left on the lead lap. So once we came back to racing after that end of the stage, it has not been great as far as long green flag runs anyway. The racing's been good from what we can see, but a few mistakes here and there. Really got some people torn up here. The faster pairs are used up. We see the 40 of Hobbs. He's back here in the 17th. But some good cars that have been running up front most of the day. We see Adams, Gardner, McHugh all back here 17th, 18th, and 19th. McHugh and Gardner both just in. It doesn't look like Gardner. It looks like either one. Looks like both of them actually are not going to get fully repaired. They're going to get back out on the lead lap. But you can see still some damage on the back of the 41. The whole back bumper, basically on that back bumper cover, is gone. You can still see some damage on the right front as well. So Gardner with some heavy damage. So we've got 35 laps left to go. We'll go back to green flag racing. Probably about lap 34 to go. Lights are out on the pace car to come off at turn number 2. Hughes, Fuge. Hughes, Fuge, and Fuge. That's our top 3 right now. Try to say that 5 times in a row. Yeah, twice in a row at this point. Singleton's up to 4th. O'Neill 5th. Matt Dickerson's kind of been hanging around back here. He's back in 6th. Our big movers of the race are definitely the Fuges, as Connor Fuge is up 17 spots. Where's our big gainer? There it is right there. Connor Fuge up 17. Chris Fuge up 13. Steele and Rush up 5 or 6 spots. Hobbs also up 5 spots as well. The lights are out. Well, Corbin's getting some good publicity tonight on these restarts, so if we keep getting green flags here, we'll keep getting these Corbin Matthews restarts up in the air. We're going to come to it one more time, so Hunter Hughes with the lead. Come to the Corbin Matthews restart zone one more time. Hunter Hughes is going to bring us to the line. Connor Fuse right there behind him. Jesse Singleton's going to get up to third. He gets around Chris Fuse on the outside. Singleton now to third. Chris Fuse falls back to fourth. Dickerson to fifth. O'Neill and Hess. That's your top 7 at this point. Hess making a good run up there. Down on the bottom, here comes Colin Swanson in the 27. Starting to make his presence felt. He's got Kibbe up on the outside. Both of them kind of fell back early. They're now making their way up into the top 10. The 1800 Hughes, 33 laps left to go as we come across the line. We're 3 wide back here with Hess. Looks like Swanson on his inside. Kruger right there with Kibbe. Swanson pushes up the racetrack. Hess moves up to avoid the contact. Kibbe going to look to the outside, try to make it 3 wide. Kibbe's going to get into the outside wall. A little concrete does flying off of turn number 2 off the 13. Steele down to his inside. We're 2 by 2 here from a little bit farther back, but Connor Fuse got Jesse Singleton to his inside. Chris Fuse right there as well. So Connor and Chris Fuse right now in the top 4. Singleton takes a look to the inside of Connor to take that second spot away. And here comes Matt Dickerson in the 44 trying to follow suit. Dickerson gets loose right there off the corner, but saves it. But he's going to lose a little bit of ground. He was up alongside of Chris Fuse for 4th. Has to fall back behind him. Side-by-side action here with Alan Hess and Zachary Steele. Right up in front of him is Colin Swanson and Kibbe. Here comes Dickerson now back to the inside of Fuse. He's got a good run. He is going to get up alongside of Chris Fuse, take that spot away. Fuse fights back up on the outside. Off of turn number 2. One more time here is Matt Dickerson in 4th. Singleton now back up to 2nd. He's going to get around Connor Fuse, the 51, now back up in the top 2. Matt Dickerson tries to follow him by. Let's see if they can both get by Connor Fuse here as they both clear Chris. Dickerson tucked right up on the back of the 51. He's saying, hey, Jesse, let's make me a hole. Let's go to the front of this thing, buddy. Let's go. Matt Dickerson right there in 4th. Chris Fuse now in 5th. Aiden O'Neill making a good run back up there after getting involved in an incident earlier in the 87. He's back up to 6th. We had a good fight up here in front. In the meantime, Hunter Hughes likes what he's seeing behind him. He is driving off in the distance. He's 1.2 seconds out in front with 30 laps left to go as he comes across the line. We're looking to get 3 wide here for 2nd. Singleton to the outside. Dickerson starts to take a peek to the inside of Connor Fuse. He's going to fall back in line. Fuse down to the bottom of the racetrack. Fuse chases the car up the hill. That's going to open up the bottom, and we are 3 wide off of 2 for 2nd. It's Singleton, Fuse, and Dickerson. Singleton clears on the outside. Dickerson's also going to get around Fuse for 3rd. And we're still 3 wide off of turn number 4. This time it's Dickerson, Fuse, and Fuse. Sounds like a law firm. And here comes Matt Dickerson down to the inside of Singleton now. As Chris Fuse gets into the outside wall right at the start-finish line. The 44 now up to 2nd. The 19 of Connor Fuse gets a little lean on that left rear quarter. Just a little bit of Singleton. They're going to keep going straight though. All right, let's see if Matt Dickerson has anything for the... Let's take a look at this gap right here in a second here, but we're going to see what's going on still side by side for 3rd and 4th. Benedict Ringer's now getting back into the fight. Benedict ran up front for most of the day until getting turned around. He's now back up to 5th, and he is looking up underneath the 19 of Connor Fuse. A little bit fresher tires on the 83. Pitted back on lap 79. Fuse pitted on lap 71. Bringing it back up to 4th. So let's take a look up front here at the gap between Hughes and Dickerson. 1.325 seconds at this point. Let's see if Matt Dickerson is closing that gap up. As they come down to the corner, he gets it down to about 1.2. So we saw this earlier with a couple of drivers. Dickerson's able to get into the corner a little bit better and actually still gaining some time off the corner. So Matt Dickerson is starting to close up on the back of our leader here. Let's keep an eye on the last 5 laps. The last 2 laps he was about 0.15 of a second quicker. All right, so we got a little action there as we went back to green flag racing. Let's see if we can make it from here to the end without another caution flag. We've had 7 in this race. 5 for incidents. As we get on board here with the 29 of Justin Kruger. Justin's now up to 5th. Right behind him is the 13 at Kibbe. Connor Fuse and Chris Fuse both falling back a little bit here. All right, back up front. Let's keep an eye on the 44. Matt Dickerson. Let's see if he can make up any more ground on Hughes. It's down to about 1.0 second, about 1.02 according to my timing and scoring. So Dickerson is still reeling in our leader. Connor Fuse got Aiden O'Neill down to the inside. Here comes Alan Hess as well. Looks to make it 3 wide. Knows going to think the better. O'Neill now up to 7th. Connor Fuse falling back to 8th after starting up in the top 4 on this last caution. Hess now up to 9th. It looks like we've got at least 4 cars. We're down to 19 cars on the racetrack. All 19 on the lead lap. A couple of good cars way back there in the back with Gardner and McHugh. Cliff Adams also down there in the back of that 16th spot. Well, a few of our front runners earlier are getting involved in some incidents. They're losing, and they're now back out of the top 15. All right, let's check in on this differential. It's down to under 0.6 of a second. Matt Dickerson is coming. Hunter Hughes has got to see that 44 getting bigger and bigger in the mirror. Matt Dickerson wanting to pick up win number 7. He's kind of been lurking back there out of the top 5 for a good part of the day, but he is now focused on the leader with 22 laps left to go. Hunter Hughes has got to see Matt Dickerson coming up on him now as they come off the corner across the line. And that gap is now down to less than about 5 car lanes. And you can see the 44 just getting closer and closer. The Bulldog Coffee Company sponsor number 44. He wants to get back out in front. He's not led any laps in this race yet. As we're getting down to the end. Oh, wrong button. There we go. Kruger now side by side with Kibbe. This is for 5th and 6th. We're going to keep an eye on that race up front. You're not going to miss anything on that one. You're going to watch this race right here. Dickerson now 2 car lanes back. Jump up on the roof cam of the 44s. They're going to head down under 3 and 4. And you can see Matt just kind of rolls the throttle a little bit easier into the corner. As he's now got a line underneath Hughes. Hughes gets a little bit loose off the corner right there. That's going to let Dickerson down to the inside. So they're going to roll into turn number 1. The 44, Matt got his teammate in the 32 and easily going to clear the 18 of Hughes. Going to settle back. He's going to take a look to the inside off of turn number 2, but he just does not have a run. Matt Dickerson now out in front here on lap number 106. Hughes is going to try to hang there with him. The 32 Vortex Motorsports teammate of Dickerson just got out of the way. He saw him coming. And Hughes is going to catch the outside wall there off of Ford. O'Neill and Kruger still going at it back here for 6th and 7th. Right behind them is Hess and Steele. And Charlie Bowling back out on the racetrack down in 20. So we got 20 cars left on the racetrack. All right, let's find some racing action. I think the best action we have right now is between the 29 and the 87. Side by side. Is that position? No, that's McHugh's going a lap down, so that's not for position right in front of them. But almost getting collected right there was the 32. And you can just see how close Matt Dickerson was to the wall coming up off the corner right there. All right, we're closing in on the final stages here at Nashville Superspeedway for the Half Decent Racing League. Let's take a look at our lap leaders here. Only 4 different leaders in this race. Hughes has led the most at 57. Ringer led 42. Singleton 8. Now Dickerson, once he's got to the front, he has led the last 3. Ringer's got himself back up to 3rd. Let's keep it. Let's see if we got. Let's take a look here at our pace. Between our 1st and 3rd place cars, Ringer now down there. Let's just take a look here at the last 5 laps. The last 5 laps, Dickerson has been quicker. Ringer is falling back a little bit, so not quite closing in on up on the leaders. But he's got himself back into 3 after getting involved in an incident, leading a lot of laps early and getting involved in an incident. Ringer's now back up to 3rd. Alan Hess down here in 11th. He's got Adams. Adams going to go by him for 10th. So Cliff Adams trying to get back to the front. He's hoping for a late caution. They're going to be 3 wide now. Underneath Steele, Charlie Bowen, the lap car on the outside. Cliff Adams with a charge into the corner. He's going to get around Zachary Steele. That's for 9th. He's going to get around Steele and Hess all in about 1 corner right there to get up into the top 10. Cliff Adams now to 9th. The lap car of Charlie Bowen. Charlie's down quite a few laps at this point, but still out there making some laps. There's the 5 car on the outside. Keep an eye on the 80. If he can get a late race caution, he's now up to 9th. And Cliff Adams has been quick all day long. Just got caught up in an accident early on. He's got Sunny Creek on the race car. But Charlie Bowen right now is about, let's see, where's Charlie at? Charlie's about 10 laps down at this point, but he's putting on a fight right here. Cliff Adams down on the bottom of the racetrack tries to hang on, hold off Zach Steele. And Dickerson is now driven off to about a 1.5 second advantage over Hunter Hughes. So Hughes now back, falling back into the clutches of Ringer. You can see Ringer now closing up on the back of Hughes for 2nd. This is the best battle we got on the racetrack here right now. Actually, Kruger and O'Neill still going at it. Actually, it's Kruger and Barker. Sorry, O'Neill's got by Kruger and driven off. But it's Kruger and Barker. This is for 7th and 8th. And right behind him, we see Adams. Looks like Adams might have finally cleared the lap car of Bowling. Bowling comes back up on the outside right here. Cliff Adams is going to clear him there off of 2. Barker down to 7th. Now O'Neill up to 6th. He's got Jonathan Kibbe right there in the 5th spot. So our point, and we got caution out on the racetrack. It looks like it might be the 5 of Bowling. Charlie was putting up a fight right there. Laps down, and it looks like he might have went around because it looks like more damage on the back of the 5. My guess is he might have gotten together there with either Steele or Hess. They're 3 wide right here going down to the corner. Steele on the bottom, Hess up on the outside, Bowling way up on the outside. And Hess just drives right into the left rear quarter. Steele's going to get a little piece of it. Actually, Steele is going to go around here at this point. And Bowling slides back up across the racetrack, and Hess just drives right in the back of him, right into the door of him there, sorry. So we got 11 laps left to go right now. We're under caution here for, I believe it's the 9th time. Let's go back and take a little bit different angle. I'm trying to find a good angle here. As we see Charlie parked up against the wall right there. Let's just stop this here. I want to find a better angle. There's a good shot. So you can see Hess just drives right into the left rear quarter, turns Charlie around. As he gets caught again by the 15. And he's going to sit against the outside wall. All right, under caution here one more time. There's about 10 laps left to go. The 8th caution of the event. We see Bowling down here on pit road. Dickerson out in front. Hess and Hobbs. So Dickerson, Hess, and Hobbs, the only 3 drivers not to pit. And then it looks like we got Barker, Hughes, and Singleton. Might have taken 2. Let's see if we can see our pit stop stats here. Our top 2 drivers pitted way back on lap 3. Barker is saying, I think he might have taken 2. Looks like first driver to maybe take 4 tires was Cliff Adams down there in 11th. We were saying if Cliff got a caution flag, he might have a chance at a run here. All right, we're going to go back to green flag racing. We got 9 to go right now. Lights are out on the pace car. And it looks like we're going to be single file here. I think we're single file, anything under 10 laps to go. Our biggest mover of the race is the 40 of Matt Hobbs. And Matt did not pit. Let's see. Matt did not pit right there, and he is up to 5th. Barker now up to 6th. So it looks like we are going to go double file. It looks like the way it's shaked out, a bunch of drivers took the inside line, and that was going to allow Barker, who has got brand new tires on the car. Dickerson, did Dickerson just disconnect? No, he came back. Oh, he's spinning around. What is going on with the 44? A little netcode issue right there. So around goes Dickerson. Let's see if we can just, he was disappearing on the screen. Let's just rewind that just a little bit. I don't know if I can go back and find it without rewinding, so. It's about the only thing I got to do here. So you can see Matt disappears off the screen, and when he comes back, he's turned around sideways into the outside wall. We're going to go around. Looks like we're going to go around one more time. Looks like race control is going to throw the caution. Go around one more lap. So hopefully Matt didn't take any damage right there, but he's been blinking on and off throughout this whole race. Little network issues there for the 44. So let's see if he can hang on right here. So Hess now. Let's see. Is Matt going to end up on the top? I see some damage here on the right rear quarter and on the left rear. You can see the left rear. See if we can jump on board with Hess right here. And you can see, looking up at the 44, you can see the damage. You can see damage right there on the back of the 44. So let's see how that's going to play out here for Matt as we go back to green flag racing. He done a good job, got himself all the way up here to the front. But the network issue right there got him turned around down the back straightaway. We're going to go back to green flag racing one more time. Caution number 8. We've got 8 laps left to go. We'll have 7 to go when we come across the line. Off of turn number 4 once again. Up to the Corbin Matthews restart zone. Matt Dickerson is going to bring us to the line. Alan Hess, Jacob Barker, that is your top 3. Green flag in the air. Looks like Hess might have spun the tires a little bit. Dickerson gets away pretty clean. Barker in the 12. Now Barker does have at least 2 set. I believe he took 2 tires on that start. Here comes Jesse Singleton now in 3rd. And it's a mess right here in the back. We're 3 wide. Here comes Ringer through the middle of Hess and Kimmy. And around goes that Hobbs going around. Hobbs going to make contact with the inside one. We got caution in the air once again. That is going to bring out another admin box caution flag. Matthew Hobbs down in the infield. And I think that might have been just a 1-car incident. I see Hess right here with some damage limping around. All right, caution number 9. Let's see if we can see what happened to Hobbs. He had moved way up there. Hobbs was way up in the front of this thing. Let's see where he's at. He's down on the bottom of the racetrack. You see Ringer to his outside. This was that 3 wide we saw right before we went, or right after we went back to green flag racing. Hess right there in front of him in the 15. And here comes Kruger up behind in the 29. Let's see what happens here. Hess looks to be losing momentum off the corner. He's just slowing down right there. I'm not sure if he ran out of fuel or what's going on with Hess, but he's just not going off of 2. Oh, Kruger got loose on the outside. Comes down and collects the 40. So Justin Kruger just lost it there off the corner. Comes down to collect the 40 of Hobbs. Hobbs does a nice job of keeping it off the wall on the inside of the racetrack. Kruger's able to drive away in the 29, but there was also something going on with Hess right there. I'm not sure what that was. He is slowing down. I'm not sure when his last pit stop was before that, but Hess definitely with some issues. All right, we're down to 5 to go. So these cautions may be hurting or helping Matt Dickerson. I'm not quite sure. Let's, you know what? Let's see if we can find Matt here late in this race here. Let's see if we can pull him up into the chat. We got about a lap and a half left to go. Let's see here. Hey Matt, you got Chris in the booth, man. Are you there? All right, let me get you. All right, we got about a lap on it. We're gonna go. Looks like we got another lap to go around on the caution. Little adventure there, man. It looks like How you feeling right there? How's the car looking? It looked like you took a little bit of damage there on that network issue you had.
Yeah, it wasn't a network issue. It was the cone car. I guess something got messed up. His mic wasn't working. So then he was late, and we chose on the back stretch. And I was trying to choose the outside. The 12 was not backing up, so I kind of spun myself across the 12 nose of the car.
Yeah, on ours, I'm not sure what you saw, but on our screen, you completely disappeared off the screen, and then when you came back, you were spinning around, so that's kind of why I thought it might have been a network problem.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I was telling him to back. I don't know. Maybe that messed him up. But
Well, you got.
yeah, I think it's just rear end damage, so it don't seem bad. So see if we can hold on, but definitely on older tires. I knew whatever, on that one caution, whatever I did, everybody was going to do the opposite. Because I got the most in. So
Yeah, well, you got four left.
We'll see what happens.
You're gonna go back to green flag racing with 3 to go. You think you can hold it together? You got Jesse now on your inside.
Yeah, I know Jesse's really good also. So we'll see. I picked the top here to try to get a good start, and then get that good arc in the corner and get a good first corner. We'll see what happens.
All right, brother. Well, hope you can hang on to it. Good luck, and we'll talk to you when it's over with.
All right, buddy.
You bet. All right, let's put him back up where he goes with his teammates. All right, so we're gonna go back to green flag racing. You heard it there from Matt. A little bit of damage here on the car. He hopes he can hang on, but he has got 51 right there on his inside. Jesse Singleton is gonna be charging hard right here. Jesse looks like might have taken 2 tires on lap 115. He was only in the pits for about 10 seconds, not long enough to take 4. So if anything, he took right sides. So we're gonna go back to green flag racing with 3 to go. All right. Well, caution number 9. We're going to go back to green flag racing off the turn number 4 one more time with the Corbin Matthews restart zone. Matt Dickerson, Jesse Singleton, who's going to win this one? 3 laps left to go. Matt gets a good jump right here. Dickerson going to drive away. Singleton and Barker. And look at Hughes going to look to the inside. We're 3 wide per second into the corner. Hughes on the bottom of the racetrack. Singleton in the middle. Hughes just about drifts up the racetrack and gets into the left rear quarter. Checks up a little enough to knock it into the 51. Hughes and Barker falls way back. Barker with a horrible start. He has fallen back to about 7th. Here comes Singleton on the inside of the 44. Into 3 and 4. We're going to come across the line. Be 2 laps left to go. Ringer down the bottom. We're 3 wide off of turn number 4. Ringer, Hughes, and Dickerson for 2nd. And here comes Jonathan Kibbe into 13 trying to sneak into this. 3 wide into the corner. Ringer still down the bottom. Singleton out in front. Here comes Hughes in the middle. Kibbe on the inside. We got a couple cars with network issues. The 13 and the 44 keep disappearing off the screen. But right now, a lap and a half left to go. It's the 51 of Jesse Singleton out in front. Benedict Ringer now up to 2nd. Benedict's been quick. Does he have anything for the 51 here on the last lap? Hunter Hughes has led a lot of laps here as well. Now up to 3rd. Kibbe to 4th. O'Neill now up to 5th. Matt Dickerson's fallen all the way back to 7th with a damage on the 44. He is out of this one, so it's going to come down to these top 3. Ringer's got a good car off of turn number 2. Can he find enough pace to get around Singleton down the back straightaway? 1 lap left to go, a half a lap now left to go. The 51 of Singleton out in front, about 3 or 4 car lengths. It's his race to win at this point. Ringer throws it hard into 3, but just does not have enough pace to get up alongside. Coming off of turn number 4, down across the line. It's going to be checkered flag in the air for the 51 of Jesse Singleton. Coming home with the win. We got cars crashing into the infield. It looked like Brendan McHugh is going to go around. Gardner going around. Everybody's going around here at the end of this one. But Jesse Singleton, a nice rebound coming home with the win. If we take a look at this, Singleton was up and down throughout the field, gotten involved in a couple of cautions. And he's going to drift it through 3 and 4 for us. Ringer's going to come home in 2nd. Hunter Hughes 3rd. Jonathan Kibbe with a good run with his first race here with the league up to 4th. So keep an eye on the 51 and the 83. So the 51 going to do some burn-ins down the front chute for us. Let's take a look at that last lap here one more time. So Ringer threw everything he had at Singleton on that last lap. We come across the line right here for the white. Ringer does catch the fence right there off of 4. That did not hurt his chance. You know what? I forgot to throw a graphic up there. It's the under 300 bar company 1 to go. I missed that one, so we're going to do it right now on the replay of the white flag. So you can see Ringer trying to reel him in, but he lost a lot of momentum off of 2. That let Singleton get away. He was right there sneaking up on him. But it's going to be Jesse Singleton coming home with the win. What's that going to be his, let's see here. This is his first oval win. The other 2 wins on the season. Actually, no, so he's won. Jesse Singleton's won, where's his, he did win at Talladega. So his second oval win is he won both the road course races at Coda and at Watkins Glen. All right, let's see if we can find anybody up in the waiting room here for us. All right, let's get into the Discord here to see if we can see if anybody's joined us here in the waiting room. All right, waiting for Jesse to jump up in here. We got Hunter in here with us. So we're going to wait for Jesse as we watch Jesse slide the car through 3 and 4, do a little exhibition there for us. All right. All right, Jesse, you got Chris in the booth. Are you there?
Yes, sir. We're here with you.
Well, yeah, buddy, that was an adventure. I mean, that's about the best thing I can say. I mean, you're down at one point about lap 65 or 70. You're down in 22nd. I mean, did you think at that point you had any chance to get back up to the front?
I didn't know what was coming at that. I mean, I felt like we had a really good first and second stage, just kind of gauging the tire wear and everything. I knew we could thought we were gonna have a long run there at the end, so wasn't kind of pushing it. And we had a couple of them restarts, and I got caught up in a couple incidents there, and people just not giving no room for. And you have a 60-lap run, and the longest run of the day, and they gave the least amount of room. So
yeah, we ended up with, I believe, 9 caution flags on the night. But you know, you look like your last when you fell down to 22nd, looked like you kind of got loose in the corner, spun it down to the grass, but able to crawl back through there. You know, anything? What did you do? Anything different than out there than anybody else was doing, or you just think just being patient and missing all the incidents around you really helped you out?
I felt like we could drive deeper in the corner than everybody else, and we wanted. I think I had my brake bias ran back a little more. I mean, that was the biggest thing I noticed. I mean, I really wasn't doing it as much because I didn't want to wear the tires out, and I didn't know the true consequences. But I felt like late in the runs when we were having to defend, we could just bomb it down in there and get her to turn more than anybody else could.
So you took a pit stop on that lap 115 on that last caution flag. Did you come down and take 2 at that point?
Yeah, I took 2. I was like, man, we could take 4. So everybody might take 2. I said, let's just take 2. If people take 4, I mean, I like a loose race car. Usually when you take 2, it makes you a little looser. And that's what I was hoping for, and that it did. And we're able to get around some of them people that didn't take no tires. And yeah, just a fun couple restarts there. Definitely get the blood pumping.
Yeah, got a little exciting right there towards towards the end of that thing with all those cautions coming up one after another. But 4th win on the season, your 2nd win on a oval. You've been king of the road courses, but you know, we got a couple. Where are we at now? I'm trying to find the schedule here as I'm kind of slowing down my talking to you. But let's see, where are we next week? Are we even here next week? Where are we at? So we got Pocono coming up on the 12th. So we're off next week, and we come back on the 12th for Pocono. So kind of a different beast, a little bit of a mix between a road course and an oval. So how you feeling about that one when we come back in a couple weeks?
It's not my favorite track, but I tend to do better there. I mean, kind of like here, I hate this track, but somehow I find a way to win. So seems like I'm good at the tracks I hate, and I ain't the best at the tracks I love. But we'll see how it goes. We'll kind of take it one race at a time here.
All right, brother. Well,
try to win the next one.
Well, congrats on another victory. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Of course, Diesel Smoke Sauce for the sponsor on the car. All the team SRM. Jack couldn't make it tonight, but all them boys and all the league sponsors. Thank you for sponsoring us. And you, of course, thank you for having us tonight.
All right, brother. Well, I'm sure we're going to talk to you again. Have a good week off, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's get our 2nd place driver up here. Benedict, are you there? This is Chris in the booth.
I am. How's it going, Chris?
Good, man. Hey, man, you had a great run. You looked to be the fastest car on the racetrack early on. Then you got wrapped up in a caution, fell all the way down to 19th. You know, I can't remember exactly what happened at that point. I'm sure you remember every single detail of it. But, you know, just tell us, I mean, you were fast early. Just what'd you have to do to get yourself back up through the field here and get yourself a shot to win this thing?
Yeah. No, so the caution I got into Cliff, I sent it in and I almost kept it on the bottom, but I was just barely a little bit up and I got him loose, and then I guess everyone's wrecked behind me. So that was unfortunate. Didn't really want to get into him there. But yeah, I just went in the back. My car definitely drove a lot different, so it's kind of just learning or relearning how to drive the car basically in the dirty air, and then just yeah, once those cautions got settled, got tires, finally picked my way through the field. But yeah, I think I was probably gonna get second there. So second anyway, I guess. If that stayed green. But then the caution came out and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for two, and I did not expect everyone else to take two, so that was kind of crazy. And then yeah, craziness, and just didn't have enough time.
Well, is there anything you think you could have done? I mean, you got come off a four there for the white flag lap. On our screen, it looked like you caught the wall just a little bit. Do you really think that hurt your chance to get a shot at Jesse there going into one?
Yeah, I think it did, because like I think he also got in the wall, and then I was basically just following him, so I got in the wall, and then I kind of sent it into one. I probably should have backed my entry up and tried to get a run, and then yeah, and then maybe if I had a run, I assume he'd probably buck the bottom and then just try to rip the lip, but I don't know. I could only really run the bottom the entire race, so it was just gonna be really hard to
Well,
pass with not
you-
a ton of laps left.
You've been quick every race you've been here, man. You're just kind of sniffing right there, trying to pick up that first win. And what do you think you got to do to just get that just one more spot?
Yeah, no. Today's first time I actually felt like I could win. The past two times I was just happy with the second, but this was definitely a little disappointing, winning the first two stages. But I think if I just didn't get into Cliff there and get sent to the back, I think probably would have had this race locked down. But obviously, the cautions were a huge variable too. So, but yeah, I just got to be cleaner and less mistakes, I guess.
Well, good run tonight, buddy. And we got Pocono coming up in a couple of weeks. But before we get you out of here, anybody you want to give a thanks to?
I'd like to thank you, Chris, for the broadcast. I'd like to thank Corey. We had some difficulties at the end, but we still tried. He still got out there, and also Todd and all the other admins and my teammates, of course, Justin and Hobbs, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, brother. Well, good race out there. Good luck. Whatever you got going on the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you. We'll see you at Pocono.
Yeah, thanks.
Bet. All right, let's get our third place driver up in here. Let's see. Hunter, you got Chris in the booth. Are you there? Hunter Hughes, are you there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you had a really good run tonight, man. One of your better runs we've seen in the races you've been here this season. Come home with a third place finish. Kind of tell us about your adventure from your point of view.
Yeah, tonight I was ripping it for Rowdy in the 18. I unloaded off the truck and I wasn't really feeling that good about the car. I didn't really know how it would feel on the long run, and like pit strategy was a little confusing, but man, once we hit the green flag, like my car just had speed in it, and it was pretty darn cool. Really wish I would have gotten to the top spot of the podium, but I can't complain with 2 second places in the stage and then walking home in third.
Well, you looked really good out there. I mean, looking at you were pretty steady in the top 5 all night long. You came in and took tires there on that lap 115. It looks like you might have taken 2. Did you have an extra set of tires left? If you'd have taken 4, you think you could have made a difference there at the end?
Yeah, I was juggling in my mind if I should take 2 or take 4 there. I did end up taking 2, and it paid off pretty well. The cautions that we got there towards the very end of the race kind of hurt that 2-tire strategy, but most of the time when I was up in the front, I just kept staying out because we were barely getting any green flag running, so
staying up at the top and being the control car for a number of those restarts really helped out because I was able to stay in the lead and not really burn a whole lot of tire. But I think on the last caution before that, final 15-20 lap long run that we got, I think I should have pit there. I think if I would have pit there, I would have had a better chance for the front, because I think the people around me pit at that time and they got back up to the front in the top 5. So I think, but hey, it all works out in the end. So
Well, great job out there now, man. You put on a good show for the fans. We come to Pocono in a couple weeks. We got next week off. So, but before we get you out of here, man, anybody you want to give a thanks to?
just give a thanks to the SMR boys back at the shop, and there no bigger thank you this week than to Kyle Busch. Been a huge inspiration on my life. He's been my favorite driver since I was a kid. That's why I run the number 18 in almost every league that I run. And heavy hearts this week and in the future for the loss of Rowdy Busch.
All right, brother. Well, have a good rest of the weekend, and I'm sure we're going to see you again before it's over with.
All right, thank you.
You bet, man. All right, I think let's see here. We've got time for a couple more interviews. Hey, Matt, you got Chris? Are you there, man?
Got you, man.
Well, I'm hoping, I think we did this one other time before I brought you up in the booth in the caution. It didn't go your way, so I hope that wasn't our fault, giving you some distraction or whatever, man. But, just a few laps left to go. Was the car just too damaged to really get a good start there?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with the damage. It was all the old tires. It was everybody behind me was on fresh, because when they all pitted there, I don't know how many cautions it was before that, but I knew whatever I did, everybody was gonna do the opposite, just because I have the most wins. At least that's what I figured. So I think I was kind of screwed either way. So I stayed out, and then literally everybody pitted. So I was just trying to hold on there at the end with everybody else on fresh tires.
Yeah, it looked like most of the cars around you took 2.
Yep.
And they pitted back on lap 1 to 15. So yeah. Well, man, you were just, I guess at that point, you were just kind of a sitting duck. You tried to hang on to it, come home with 7th. Not a horrible finish. I know not where you'd like to be, but that should definitely help aid your point lead with some other guys having some troubles tonight.
Yeah, I think, Jesse, I think, won. He's in second point, so he got a little chunk out, but I still got a, really good lead. But plus that was, I think that's probably my worst oval track, I think. So, and I seemed like I figured it out, like, right at the end. Like, I was running, like, seemed like 6th and 9th, like, the whole night. And then finally at the end, I started figuring it out and was able to lead there for a bit. So, yeah, it was fun, though.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, like I told everybody else, you guys put on one heck of a show tonight. It was a lot of fun to watch. Unfortunately, I know you'd rather be up front, but it was a good race to watch from our point of view. Made it exciting towards the end, at least. 9 caution flags is a little tough at times, but
I know
it
started out so good.
Yeah, long green flag runs. If you listen to me on my soapboxes, I've said many times, get rid of the goddamn stage and you wouldn't have as many cautions. So
I know, man. It started out real good.
So yeah.
I know.
Well, good job out there tonight, man. We're gonna give you an opportunity to give any thanks before we let you go.
Yeah, man. My sponsor, Bully Dog Coffee Company, you for broadcasting. I'll watch it back, and then Todd and all the admins that run, and then my teammates there. Cliff had another good run, and Brendan, I think, finished. Well, he got some stage points and stuff. He should be probably closer to the cut line now. And Steven, thank all them. So I think we're off next week, man.
We are off next week. We've got Pocono in 2 weeks. Well, it worked out good for me because I am going to be gone again. So it worked out nice for me where I don't have to try to find some coverage. So yeah, so we'll be back for Pocono on the 12th. Should be a fun race.
I like Pocono.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not racing it because I'm not good at it. So I'm gonna watch.
I like that tunnel turn.
Sit back and watch you guys.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, have a good rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you again.
All right, man. Thank you.
You bet. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Let's take a look at our full results real quick here before we get things wrapped up for the night. So your winner is going to be Jesse Singleton, bringing home his 4th victory of the season. Benedict Ringer in second. Hunter Hughes rounds out your top 3. Then it's Jonathan Kibbe Cliff Adams, Aiden O'Neill with a good run to 6th. Matt Dickerson, as we just talked to, in 7th. Chris Fuge got himself up towards the front there with a couple of restarts to go. Comes home in 8th. Colin Swanson in 9th. Jacob Barker 10th. So Colin with a good run. So Kibbe and Swanson both here for the first time. They're going to come home with top 10 finishes. Jacob Barker in 10th. Zachary Steele 11th. Todd Rush Jr. with a good move all the way up to 12th after starting in 20th. Justin Kruger 13th. Matthew Hobbs, Sean McLean, Connor Fuse, Brendan McHugh, Colton Gardner, who had a rough night, in 18th. Alan Hess. Charlie Bowling way down there in 20th after also having a good run but getting caught in some action late in the race. Down in 21st, Kevin Page. Stephen Farrell in 22nd. And Mark Osher, getting involved in a caution early on. He's going to come home in 23rd. Let's see. Jesse led only 10 laps of the race. Hard charger was Kibbe up 9 spots. Most laps read was Hunter Hughes with 57. Fastest lap of the race was Jesse Singleton. All right, so we're going to go and wrap it up here. Once again, Jesse Singleton bringing home the win in the 51. So from all of us here at DRSN, say thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow night with the JWR iRacing Super Speedway. Saturday night fever. Lots of good Super Speedway action coming tomorrow night. Do not miss that one. But I'm Chris Murphy saying keep it smooth, keep it smart, and if you can't do that, at least keep it entertaining for the folks at home. We're going to see you next time. Good night.